today am up by Big Meadows Lodge. I've just walked through the campground and picked up the trail just outside the campground. It's 7:20 in the morning and the trail is really pretty easy right through here. We'll see how it goes throughout the day. In a moment I'll actually be walking by the lodge where Mary Margaret and I are staying. I've seen some deer, so there is a little bit of wildlife in the campground area, and looks like so many people walk this part of the trail. It's really smoothed out and kind of been gravelled in. Ooh, that's really kind of pretty off through there. Back behind me, just give you a quick view. Oh, there's the glare, sorry. There's the trail going off behind me again. Sun is just coming up. It's actually been up about an hour and 20 minutes, a little over. And I'm going to go ahead and reverse that back around again. You don't want to see that. Back to the trail. Yesterday on the trail there were, like the gentleman had told us, there were no views. Today it doesn't look like there's going to be hardly any views along the trail unless I get some later on. Hopefully I won't get quite as much up and down terrain. This terrain is fairly easy. You'd make it a lot smoother to put in a few more miles. Yep. Okay, well, I'm going to sign this one, sign it off. Mike. This is my first view of the lodge. The trail actually just crosses in front of the lodge. I had picked it up at the campground. I basically walked around here. Took me about 30 minutes to get here. And Mary Margaret and I are staying right up in there. There's a bird right there. Mary Margaret and I are up there in that building somewhere. I think we're up on the, yeah, we're on the top floorish area. So that's that. Just down from the hotel, I crawled up a little bit of a hill, and I've sort of topped that hill right now. And there's a little rock outcropping just off the trail that gives me this view and a chance to cool down a little bit. It is really probably still in the 70s this morning, but when you're working it gets a little bit warmer. Anyway, this is just down from the Big Meadows Lodge. I'm going to turn around real quick, I think. Oh, that was some other view. Can't quite do it. I'll have to, well, I'll turn it this way. And enough. This trail today, and I'm down from Big Meadows Lodge, probably half a mile or so, maybe almost a mile, is totally different than yesterday's trail. And the views, although you can't really call them great views, I'm still in a much more open area than yesterday. Temperature's still very cool down in here, and I'm quite a ways from the road, I think. I don't hear any noise up there anymore. And even though I wouldn't like to have a bear encounter, I think this would be a good place if you were to have one, because the bear has a lot of room to leave you alone, and you have a lot of room to leave the bear alone, to include, if you had to get off the trail. The sun is just coming through and making this just extra pretty. It's still, it hasn't quite come up over the treetops. And you get some beautiful area like this to look at. You can see I'm actually looking kind of towards the sun and trying to keep the camera off it. There we go. Big tall trees, plants. The trail is kind of graveled in along here, almost like it's been manicured in places. And thanks to the ATC trail clubs who keep this trail and maintain it, I think shortly the ATC is going to release those crews to come out and maintain these trails. But they are beautiful down in through here. And in this part of the trail, I'm actually able to video and I'm actually carrying my poles instead of using my poles, except for just a little bit of an rock outcrop a while ago. I'm going downhill at this point, but it's not a steep downhill. It's just a gradual downhill, and I'm headed somewhere towards Milam Point. Don't know when I'll get there, but we'll see. Okay, beautiful out there. Mike. I've just climbed a little bit of a rise, and I come out to this. I never had this much level ground in the entire day yesterday. I also never had this nice a trail without rocks yesterday. So the area down by the south entrance to Shenandoah is a totally different trail than is up here by Big Meadows. And I'm right now, Guthook says I'm a half mile short of Milam parking. And wow, this trail is really easy through here. I just saw my first people of the morning. A man and his wife were hiking. They came out at the little forest road there, then turned down the road. Sounded like there was a little creek there if you needed water. So light downhill there. Look, give you a view of what I'm seeing off to the side. Sun's peeking through and back into the shade. It's kind of like well, I'm on the side of a hill, so the sun is up in the trees up there, but it's not down in here. Sort of, I won't say call it, it's not like a tunnel, but I'm certainly down in the forest. See the sun on the trees below. I have hooked a little tripod to my camera iPhone today so that I can hold it and maybe get a little more still pictures. The disadvantage to the little tripod is it's perpendicular to the iPhone. And the only place it really fits conveniently is in my back pocket, which means if I fall down and hit my back pocket on my butt, and I will break my phone potentially. So I've been really careful. The iPhone is, you would realize out here, is kind of your lifeline. Without one, you could really be in trouble. And with the COVID, I don't think there's very many hikers on the trail. Yesterday, I probably only passed maybe 7 hikers in about a 7-hour period. So there were very few people out here. Like I say, this morning, it's 8:15 now, and I've just passed my first 2 people on the trail. I'm actually headed southbound today. I went from Big Meadows Lodge and turned south. I'll go as far as I can hike, and then I'll get my ride back to Big Meadows. I'm just doing short hikes, hike as much as I want in a day, and then actually return to the hotel at night. So that's really the finest of slack packing. Okay, well, the trail looks like I had never had this much level ground yesterday. It's so wonderful to have that, and a beautiful trail. I'm going to sign off now. Mike. I think I've climbed up a little bit. I'm almost to a place called Hazeltop. The trail's been pretty easy. Wasn't even a brutal climb. I had to stop a couple times. Just for me, though. Maybe it'll go up a little bit here in a minute. I seem to have hit a little level off spot. Give you a little view of what's down to the right there. I took a picture of some flowers at Hazeltop. Yeah, I'm going to go up a little bit more here. I didn't think I was at the top yet. Till you see blue sky around all sides, you know you're not quite at the top. There's the other side. Yeah, it's about a little after 11. Excuse me, a little after 10. Been out here just about 3 hours. Okay, Mike. It's about 10:30. I'm been past Hazeltop for a while, and I'm descending into Booten Gap. Initially, it was pretty sharp downhill, so I was using poles to stay up. But now I'm just in a place where I can ease my poles out and just show you kind of what it looks like coming downhill into Booten Gap. Back here comes a little signpost up here in a moment. Must be a little side trail. High growth on both sides. Trail's really easy. Yep, looks like maybe, let's see what it is. Here we are. Says Appalachian Booten Gap, Milam Gap, I guess how they said that. And Laurel Prong Trail, Cat Knob 1, Rapidan Camp 2.8. Nothing I'm headed for. So I'll just keep on heading down the trail. Really haven't got any views either way. You're kind of like, must be on sort of a wide ridge line. At least it's nice and level. Temperature's still pretty good. And I'm on my way again. I'll keep this up until I need my poles for a second. Haven't seen much wildlife. Just that one deer. Actually 2 deer today. Man, got some hikers holding off. See you then. Leaving Booten Gap. It's 11 o'clock. I've been on the trail just at 4 hours and covered about 6 miles. This is why we like our trail maintainers. Yep. Although this one's probably been here a while. There you go. Stretch. That one leg doesn't work as well as the other one. So, been noticing that a little bit. Yeah, this part of the trail, leaving Booten, is supposed to be going up, and I'm sure it will in a moment. But for the moment here, I'm not even using poles. Beautiful trail. Look at the view downhill. And I'm about 2.7 miles from a hut. So I want to get there. Probably be there about 1 o'clock, would be my guess. My pace. And I do have a rise coming up here. So this beautiful part won't probably hold up where I'll be able to walk at this pace for a while. Although, beautiful here. Uphill. Yeah. I got the camera raised up. That's hard to tell. I'm sure that's hard to see when you're in there looking. That I have the camera no longer level, but I'm actually raising it up. If I went level, that's all you would see. So there we go. And if I went level the other way, you see that valley. Terrain way over there, but I wouldn't really call it a view. I'm going to go down here in a second. So I don't know when I'm going up, but it says I'm going to climb a mountain. So no surprises ever. Temperature's still pretty good. I don't know what it is anymore. So I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the 80s. Certainly is a wet day for me. But that's life. And wow, look at that. Except for short portions of today, you could actually do today without poles. I've had 2 or 3 saves already with them, but mostly on the downhill coming off Hazeltop, where it got a little bit steep in places, a little bit rocky. I had poles, and I was glad to have them. But along through here, I'm actually not using them. And of course, when I go uphill, I tend to use them. And speaking of uphill, here it comes. So, Mike, see you then. Rock scramble's gonna kick my tail. Not real happy with that. And look up ahead. I'm already going up. As you can hear by my breathing, going really slow. And then I get to look to that. Wow. Well, the easy part of the trail got slowed down a bit. Maybe up here in a moment it'll cap out. I'm supposed to get to a top of something and then have a down. So we'll see how it goes. I am gonna have to put the phone up for this part. Y'all be good, Mike. Just coming off Bear Fence Mountain, Bear Fence Overlook, and I'm heading SOBO. And it was a real rock scramble at the top. I did not do the last little bit of rock scramble up to get the view. I just kept on the AT going SOBO. I'm going SOBO now, and it's been a fairly significant downhill. It's got a couple switchbacks on gut hooks. NOBO, that's not really a rock scramble here. Your rock scramble will come on the other side of Bear Fence, but it is just all loose scree. So not too bad for walking. I'm having to watch where I'm going. And this is a fairly level spot, so I did get out the camera, kind of give you an idea what you're looking at. It's going to go a little steeper downhill, so I'm watching my knees and watching my footing. Level's slightly level here. I can hear the cars down the skyline. I'm actually coming down into one of the shelters, and I think I'll stop. It's about 12:30. I'm going to try and stop at the shelter and have lunch. It said it has intermittent water. I'm going to cross my fingers for water because I'm running low. I haven't crossed any water since a long time ago. Before Millam, there was a couple little places where I could have filled up, but I didn't. So my air it goes pretty level here. One thing I do when I walk is, without the poles and walk along here on the scree, I am a little bit extra careful over what most people might be. I do have a titanium hip on my right side with a hip replacement. I can feel it. It's causing just a little bit extra pain on the muscle over there. But a fall on a hip replacement to me would be a little more of a problem if it comes out of joint and they have to cart me off the mountain. So I don't really want to have a fall, so I am real careful when I go through these areas. And almost one of the reasons I don't film. You certainly don't see me filming up the rock scrambles when I'm using two poles to hang on just to get going. I do favor that just a little bit too. Try not to, but I do. Yeah, this is really pretty easy through here. I'm going to just be quiet for a minute, let you see it. Looks like the corner of the switchback right here. I'll be stepping careful, down, down, and back on the trail again. Headed the other direction was the switchback. The level of down is not bad. I know some of you AT folks coming up this will be running. Kind of gone from scree rock into pine needles covering parts of that trail there. Same down here, it's a lot easier walking with a few rocks sticking up just for tripping you up. Long ways, you can see a long ways down that trail. I'm going to go ahead and hold it off here with a mic and send you out. Bye now. Bear Fence Shelter is down from the AT. It says 2/10 of a mile from gut hooks down to here. It's all downhill, so when you leave in the morning, it's going to be all uphill. There's a fire pit. Looks like somebody may have left some firewood here. Can't I guess that's firewood. Log thing. Room. Bunks. And the underneath area where you could sleep if you needed. There's a spring down there, but as I'm here in July, the spring has run gone. Bear box, and somebody left you some oatmeal in the bear box. Fire pit, and the outside. I almost wonder if that doesn't go up to the AT. It'd be shorter than my hike out there. I guess kind of one each shelter. It does have a picnic table, but the picnic table's not underneath, so if it's raining, you're in it. So, all right, see you then.